Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to 31 Days of Pomp-o-Ween. If you're new here, then welcome. My name is pompberry, and this month is my favorite month of the year because obviously Halloween is the best thing ever. It just is. Like, I'm just here relaying facts. So what I like to do is I release one video a day teaching you a new Halloween look every single day. And today we've got something special. I'm doing an art recreation, which I know you guys really like. And I decided to do today's look for two reasons. First off was I had finished my list of looks I wanted to do for Halloween, and then I realized that there were no witches in comparison to last year when I did all the witches. I thought, no, that's not right. I can't have 0 witches. So I wanted to add a little witch in there. And then second, a patron of mine on Patreon, Sharon, I love you. Thank you so much for all the lovely recommendations. She suggested that I do a look based on a Sofia Rapata painting. And I think her work is incredible, but because of the proportions that she draws, her figures, I thought it would be really, really hard to do an interpretation of her work. I might try to tackle it in the future. I don't know. But there's an artist that I love that has a similar style that's a little less spooky and a little more whimsical, and they go by Darktown Sally on Instagram. And Sharon also suggested that I do an art recreation in general. It didn't have to be Sophia's work, so I'm still counting this one as Sharon's suggestion. And this look is quite simple, but I think it's going to be really fun. The color palette is very limited, but it's got a very distinct style to it. And I think I have a similar bone structure to the drawing, so I think it'll work really well. And yeah, that's the backstory for today's look. So before I get started, please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Your support really means a lot to me, especially during this month, and I really appreciate you tuning in. So as you can see, my face is completely bare. I just washed and moisturized it, and I just freshly bleached my eyebrows. If you don't have bleached eyebrows, I would recommend blocking your brows for this look. If you don't know how to do that, I'm going to leave a link to my tutorial on how to do that right up here. I'm not blocking my brows today because I don't think it's necessary for this look. Just bleached brows are enough. And that's it. I'm just gonna jump right in. I'm gonna start by prepping my skin with the JCat H2O primer. This is just a nice moisturizing primer, but feel free to use any sort of primer that you like. Then for my base, I do want a white face, so I'm going in with the Mayron Clown White Light. This is a cream product, and I'm going to apply it with a beauty blender. And I just like going straight in. And I want to make sure that it is truly white, so if it starts looking a little sheer, I just dip back in. And you can see this gives a beautifully even white base. I should probably moisturize my lips, so I'm gonna go in with the Milk Makeup Kush Lip Balm before I do my lips. They do feel a little dry. And I'm just gonna do this all over. And because I didn't block my brows, I want to make sure I get the product on the skin that's under the brow, so I'm going against the grain of the brow and then just sweeping back over it. I'm not going to worry about taking it all the way to the hairline because I will be pulling this down to hide my hairline. So once that's done, I'm going to set it in place with some translucent powder. And I'm going to be using the RCMA No Color powder that I have in this little Anna Sui powder container. It's the cutest little thing. And you have to make sure that there are no creases. So like under the eyes, on the lids, before you set it with powder. You want to be generous with your powder application. I like to let that sit for a minute or two. Then I take a big old powder brush and I go and I kind of press the powder in to make sure it's really setting everything in place. And then I just dust off the excess. And the powder does get everywhere, but it's translucent, so it just comes off with a swipe. Now to further intensify the white where I want it to be really, really white, I'm going to take Sugar Pills Taco, which is this matte white eyeshadow, and I'm going to set my chin area above and around my mouth, on the jawline a bit. That's where I want the white to be whitest. Also just going to set a little bit right here. But the rest is going to have a gray gradient and some orange over it, so it doesn't matter that much. So I'm going to start off with that gray gradient, and I'm going in with the Lunatic Cosmetics Contour Palette Volume 2. It's got these beautiful grays over here, and I'm going to use the lightest one. And I'm going to start at the top of my forehead, bringing it down. I just want to cover my entire forehead in this gray. Once that's done, I'm going to take my Creepy Cute palette by Shroud Cosmetics, formerly known as Strobe Cosmetics, and I'm going to be taking the color Tombstone, which is this darker gray. I'm going to start at the top Oh boy, that's dark. And slowly blend it. That's rude. Slowly blend it down on the sides of my temples. I'm gonna blend that onto the bridge of my nose a little bit. Use a smaller brush to help blend it out. And then I'm gonna take that color Tombstone and apply it around my eyes. So I'm gonna start in this inner corner going over my eyebrow. This is why I didn't bother covering up my eyebrow, because I'm going to be covering it with this gray. I'm gonna take that gray all around onto my lids, bringing that down kind of onto the contours of the nose and under the eye as well. And this part connects with the contour of the temple. So I've done both eyes and I've blended it down a little bit more, intensified it a little bit more. This is just the beginning of the eyes. Still going to further intensify things. But before I do that, I'm going to move on to the cheeks and nose, and I'm going to be using the Sugar Pill Fun Size palette. I'm going in with the color High Score, which is just like the most perfect kind of pumpkin orange, and I'm going to start applying that right on the apples of my cheeks. This is the perfect color for this look, and I'm blending it out and making it like a perfect little circle. I'm going very slowly with this. I don't want it to be super intense. I think this is like the most intense that I want it in the middle area here, and then just picking up a little bit at a time so that I can make the circle bigger. And I'm blending it upwards towards my eyes, and I'm also going to take that color onto the tip of my nose, and I'm going to blend it upwards. Strongest right on the tip. It goes a little bit onto bridge. Then I'm going to just very lightly take that on a slightly bigger brush and apply it right here between the nose and the cheeks. Just very ever so slightly. Concentrate a little bit more. Also gonna make sure my lips are completely white. I'm going to apply that onto my bottom lip. Now I'm going to take the Creepy Cute palette again, and I'm going to take the color Void, which is the black. And I'm going to apply it under my eyes, but leaving a little gap between the black and my eyes. Just going to intensify certain areas. And I'm just following the reference for this. I'm just trying to make it as close to the original as I can. Then I'm going to darken up this corner here. I'm going to blend that into my crease and on my brow bone. I'm going to do a little bit around my forehead. I want to make sure my lids are pretty dark. Now to intensify certain areas even more, I'm going to take the Melt Gemini palette, and I'm going to use the black in here called Bonnie because it is super intense. And I'm just going to further deepen right here under the eyes, and then the very center of this corner. Now that I've done the cheeks and everything, I can finish up the gray. It wasn't quite done yet. I just didn't want to come super down with it before I did the cheeks. So I'm just going to lightly blend that downwards. Then I definitely have to intensify the gray on the nose. She has like this slightly darker spot right in the middle of the bridge of the nose. Then I'm going to do some light shading on the bottom of the nose, on the nostrils. Then I'm going to do some very light shading under my cheekbone, and then down here as well. It goes from under the cheekbone down towards the chin. Just a touch of that. I'm going to go in with the light gray so I can do that. I'm also going to take a bit of that light gray and go right under the eye area. I just want to diffuse it a little bit more. And I'm just going to take a bit of that white and just apply it close to my bottom lash line, just so it creates more of a separation between my eye and the dark area underneath. Now I'm going to move to the mouth, and I'm going to start by shading right under the bottom lip using a teeny tiny pencil brush so I can be really precise with this. And then here in the center, it's got a very dark spot that kind of goes onto the bottom lip as well. Definitely want to make my lips seem smaller, and so creating this shadow as if this was under my lip definitely helps to reduce it. And then I'm going to shade the top lip, and this I'm going to overline a little bit, just the Cupid's bow. I'm going to overline it, and then it just blends out to a nice little gray. And there's also like a little line coming down. And then I'm going to take Bonnie again so that I can shade the inner part of the lips and really extend the outer corners. And the reason I'm doing this with an eyeshadow and not a lip product is because I want the whole face to be consistent and to have the same textures throughout. And so working with the same powders that I used on the rest of my face is going to guarantee that. I'm going to do like a little V, the center of the top lip, and I'm also going to shade the inner part of my bottom lip. Now I'm going to take the NYX Epic Ink liner, and I'm going to draw the lines on the nose and on the cheekbone. So basically she's got a little line right here under her cheekbone, and then she's got a line going down her nose. So it starts all the way up here, and then it goes pretty straight down, then it defines the tip of her nose. She's got a little line. I'm gonna grab my little brush and just blend it out a little bit. And I'm gonna take more black eyeshadow and then just lightly blend out the line a little bit, but not too much. And same thing along the nose. I'm going to shade here by my chin a little bit more just to make the chin seem a little pointier. And then I'm going to tightline my eyes with the Milk Longwear Gel Liner in the color Boss. It's the black, and I'm going to apply that to my waterline, and I'm going to tightline with it. Then I'm going to take the NYX Jumbo Pencil in the color Black Bean, basically filling in the lid, but really tapering the outer and inner corners. And then I'm going to set that with Bonnie. Now, she's got a lot of texture from the painting, I think probably from the paper and from the medium used, and I really, really love that texture. Like, this would be the look pretty much done. I just have to pop in my black contacts, but I want to add in that texture, which I think makes the image so special. And so I'm going to take a makeup sponge, and I'm going to pick at it so that I can have a textured sponge. And you want to make sure you don't have any flat edges, like along the sides. You want to pick those off so that you have a rounded sponge. There you have yourself a textured sponge. And now I'm going to take my Wolf face paints, and these are water activated. I'm going to start off with the gray. It might be a little too light, but I'm going to start off with a gray and see what I think of it, because I know it dries down a lot darker than it actually is. And I'm going to just dab that. Oh, that is quite light. I'm going to do that down here then. Okay, I'm definitely going to have to mix that in with the black. I might shred it up even more so that I get an even finer texture. So now I'm going to take a little bit of the black, just one drop of water in there, and then I can start stamping. And you want to kind of move your sponge around to make sure that you're not doing the same pattern over and over. You want to change it up as you go. I definitely need to pick at this more. I'm going to use some tweezers. I'm not grabbing too much product on my sponge. I'm barely grabbing any at all because I just want a very light texture. I think it just adds a little bit more interest to the look. You can see already it just adds so much more dimension to it. I'm going to bring that all around, down under the eyes, onto the nose, on the tip of the nose. Stamp that around. It's very light touch. I'm like barely touching it to my skin. Bringing it down past my cheeks, then into the contour. Oh, see, this looks so much better already. I'm gonna go under my lips and then on my lips. I'm concentrating that where it's darkest under my eyes because I want to get some of that texture in there. But it did kind of darken here too much, so I'm taking just some of that white shadow to soften it a little bit. And I use that to darken around the perimeter of my forehead and help with that gradient. I've pulled this down and I've pulled my turtleneck up, and I kind of want to define my jawline with some black because she has a very specific shape to her face. So I'm going to take my black Wolf face paint, and first of all I'm going to paint this area here to make sure that no skin is showing. But then I also want to go straight down, and I'm going to go slightly above my own jawline, dipping back down when I get to the chin. So I want to really emphasize the chin. Now I get that very specific jawline shape. I might even round it out a little bit. I got my hat on and I realized I forgot one thing, and that is some texture on the cheeks as well. I'm going to take some orange face paint and I'm just going to rip off the part of the sponge with the black on it and create a new texture. And I'm going to grab a little bit of that orange face paint and just add a little bit of texture right to the center of the cheeks and to the tip of the nose and to the lips as well. And then one last thing before I put on my contacts, I'm just going to do a quick coat of mascara just to get my lashes really black, because right now you can see they look kind of white from all the eyeshadow that I used, and I just want to take that lightness away from them. I want them to be really well hidden. And this is the finished look. So on the Instagram post of this painting, the artist describes her as a happy little witch, and she's not smiling with her mouth, but she is with her eyes. Her eyes are very much like an emoji smile eyes. They're like little upside down U's. They're like, they're so cute. All the characters in all her paintings have completely black eyes. That's why I chose to put on the black sclera contacts, but they are so uncomfortable. I do not recommend wearing these. So I just wanted to show you guys the full look with the contacts, but now I'm going to take them off for the health and safety of my own eyes and for my personal comfort so that I can wrap up this video. Okay, I have the contacts out. Full sclera contacts are really uncomfortable, so I try not to wear them for more than like 10, maybe 15 minutes tops. I put them on to show you guys and to take a few quick pictures, but I'd rather not keep them in for a long time. So yeah, this was a pretty simple look, but I think it's so cute, and it's an idea for a quick makeup if you want to dress up like a witch or just anything kind of in the spirit of Halloween. You can see that you don't need a lot of products or a lot of colors. You can do something cool just by adding texture to it. So I think this was really simple but really effective and really just cute, I don't know, and fun. She just seems so happy in the little painting. So I just wanted to dress up like a little happy witch, you know, sometimes you just want to be a little happy witch. So yeah, I hope you guys like this. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much to all my patrons who made Pomp-o-Ween possible. If you want to become a patron, go check out www.patreon.com/pompberry. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow for another Halloween tutorial. I'll see you then. Bye!